Just waiting for my webcam to kick in. All right. Yay. All right, here we are. Don't mind my tripod in the back. Come on, tripod. Let's shift you over here. All right, a little lag time, but I think we're going to work with what we've got going on. Greetings, everyone. Let's see if we can adjust you. Okay, so I created the time to come on here live and then ended up taking a little bit longer to do what I thought I could do quickly. So we're here now. Hopefully this takes and this goes through, but I wanted to at least hold myself accountable by making sure that I come on to share and do what I said I was going to do, basically. So on Instagram, I posted something recently that I'm going to kind of read and go through, but it's definitely something I want to share, and I want to absolutely just dive into more in general. And so if it resonates with you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. So it's just talking about, so I'll start one paragraph at a time, or we'll see, and I'll interject along the way too, since this is live and we get to have a little bit more interaction. So first, let's breathe and settle in. So often rushing from one thing to the next without allowing our energy to transfer over. So I'm just allowing my energy to come with me and sit down with me so we can be here and be more present. So it starts with, I hope people don't think I've always been like this. I didn't get to where I am without hard work and dedication to my entire well-being. It took a lot of mess ups, a lot of pain, going through life as a zombie, letting outside influences, TV, family, peers, partners, society tell me what I wanted, tell me what I should do, tell me what was right. So basically, I was sleepwalking, and the part of me that knew there was better was sad and suffering behind all of that, but didn't have access because it kind of felt like she was in the sunken place. You know, she didn't really know how to speak up and say, I don't want that, I want this, or don't want this, I want that. I used to hide. I used to hold back tears and smile while teaching an entire Zumba class. I remember there were a few times because I think maybe just the way I thought I was supposed to teach, and I would show up and hold back what was really going on in life, because in Zumba, it kind of felt like the space was more of like a show up and smile and be happy, and nobody really cares about your problems because we're just here to be happy and like mindlessly dance. So it mostly felt like that. And I would just hold it back and like smile, say goodbye. And then right after class, run to my car and cry. And I knew that I wasn't showing up as my full self, but it felt like I had zero access to her. I never thought about what I wanted. I just went along with the program, because that's how we're conditioned to operate here. I think school it's like it has this old, ancient, industrialized way of just training us to go with the program, not stand out or be different, to blend in, to follow all the rules, follow authority, no matter how crazy the authority sounds or how nonsensical the rules are. And I'll continue. But the thing I recognize, and I think a lot of people go through too, is we don't know how to get out of it. Like we're going through it and we're like, yeah, but as you talk about it, I can be aware of it. But as I'm going through it, it's hard to stop and choose a different path. Like, how do you choose a different path if you don't know what that path looks like? Right. So I didn't know how to change. I didn't know about the tools to heal. I didn't know about the seminars, the courses, the healers, the classes, the retreats. Like I had no idea. And they say the phrase that we have popularized today is that like, if you know, you know, right? So if you don't know, you don't know on the other side of that. And I didn't know. And looking back on it, I realize that I'm sharing and I've been showing up from a place of I know, and it can be hard to connect to for those that don't know. So it's like, yeah, you're doing all the things, you have all the tools, you're, going through it this way, but how do you awaken to that? Like how do you get from not knowing all the way over here to knowing all the way over here, right? What is the in between? So I'm working to just have more live discussions like this so that we can bridge the gap. You can ask questions. You can even ask questions in the comments. You can private message me, whatever you feel like you need to be able to ask the questions. And then once you get there, to also be able to keep up with a certain consistency of it, because I think it's first. Well, we'll get into that. Let me continue. So now, if I don't do at least one thing from my rising ritual, so my morning routine, when I get up, I do it every day. I walk through the day feeling a little bit differently. All these things that I didn't do before and I was terrible at when I started, but I kept practicing, now are habitual and I want to do them. I get excited to do them. I get excited, and I never thought I would get to the place where I'm like excited to get up and wake up and meditate and move and journal and read and learn and do all these things in the morning. Like the morning, like the word sounds, and I think um just words in general are so interesting, what they choose to call certain things nowadays here in English in America. Like mourning, like you're mourning something that has passed. Your mourning is a state of like sadness and grief. But I'm like, I like the word rising, because you're, rising into a new day. You're rising into a whole new opportunities, a whole new you. Um, so now it's like I'm excited to rise up into all these habits that I've cultivated that make me feel the closest to me, that bring me closest to source, that make me more able to open up my heart space, open up my mind space to all that is there for me, right? When you're closed off, if you don't know, you don't know. When you're closed off and you don't see certain opportunities, or I mean, everything is an opportunity, but you miss out on so much of it when you're sleepwalking through life. Um, so, and it doesn't start out that way. So, like I said, when I first started, it just wasn't, it didn't, it was very hard for me to sit still and meditate. So continuing sitting still to meditate stressed me out. And when I started, and now it was stressed me out when I started. And now the stress comes from not meditating, from not sitting in that stillness and not tapping into how, what thoughts are coming up for me, because your thoughts are going to lead you to how you're feeling, are going to lead you to what actions you take, what habits you form, what beliefs you form, and you're going to live your life based on those beliefs, and your beliefs determine your entire life, your destiny. So when I started, dragging myself to the gym was a regular occurrence, and now I like skip to my workouts most of the time. But like today, this whole beginning of the week, I was on my moon cycle, so there were no workouts. The workout was like getting up to make something to eat. I still did some meditation, some deep breathing. But I was so like excited today, and I like took my yoga mat and like rolled it out, and like it happened in like slow motion, like in one roll, it just landed in the perfect place on my ground, on my floor in my apartment. And I was like, yes, sun is shining. This is amazing, beautiful, right? But it takes a while to get there. It takes some practice in your mind, in your body, right? Um, and believe this or not, but connecting to my body and the way that she expressed emotions was not something that I was used to doing. Even though I grew up as a dancer, performing all the time, I was disconnected from the messages that my body were trying to tell me, because in performance in the dance world, it's all about like being on stage and having stage presence, and the show must go on no matter how you're feeling. If you want to like I have to skip this performance. I need to go cry. I need to sit down and like reflect on some things. It's like, no, no, suck it up, get on stage, do your performance, and then you can, figure out what you need to do afterwards. But for me, I never really took time to reflect on things. It was just like movement was my way of actually avoiding a lot. It was avoiding how I felt. It was avoiding having hard conversations. It was avoiding um, it was avoiding accepting how I really felt. And I continued to do that until my body was like, nah, sis, like you need to stop and sit your ass down and like actually reflect on how you've been doing nothing that you've wanted your entire life. So that was it happens a little bit because your body will speak to you in whispers, and then it'll speak to you, and then it'll yell at you, and then it'll scream at you, and then I don't even want to know what comes after that. But I had a panic attack in January of 2018, and that was my wake up call. It was like, okay, I don't know what that was. And a lot of us, like the trauma that's held in our bodies and all the like, not only the trauma, but I think there's like different levels and layers and definitions of trauma, but the suppressed emotions, all the things we're not dealing with and we think we don't have to deal with are stored in our body. It doesn't go away. The energy doesn't just disappear. Energy never dies. It just finds somewhere to sit. So if you have certain pains that show up in your body, it's because there are certain emotions that you've been holding on to that you haven't addressed, that you've been suppressing until it forms in a physical way and still tries to speak to you in that way. So my panic attack was my entire being trying to say something is off. You're out of alignment. You've been out of alignment for a long time. You haven't been listening to the whispers or the talks or the yells. So now we have to scream at you and like literally put you in a state of shock, because I was like, I am going to die. And I was just laying on the floor of my apartment alone. I'm so thankful. I can't remember if I was on the phone with a friend or if I called her, but she talked me through it. And I'm so grateful that she was there to help me through it. But it was just like I just started crying and I thought I was going to die crying. I was like, crying is going to kill me. The thing I've been avoiding actually doing to release everything is now going to kill me. So I was like, this is ironic. And, it's like I've lived a full life, started saying my goodbyes, but also like literally panicking, couldn't breathe. And she just talked me through breathing. And I think that's why like breathing and breath work has become one of the most important tools that I use today to bring me back to myself, back to my body, back to spirit. So I'll continue here. I had to first unbecome all that I had become from conditioning. I'm still in the process for everything, so don't think that I haven't figured it all out. I have not figured anything out. Like very, very, very tiny. Like the man who thinks he knows everything knows nothing. But I don't think we ever get to a point where we have it all figured out. Life is a journey of figuring it out constantly. So I just began to question everything because I can't remember. I was doing so many like once I found one course, that course led me to another course, and then this seminar, and then this class, and then this master class, and then this webinar. And so I started doing all the things, and I ran into something that was like question everything. Question everything. So I started questioning all the things I thought I loved, I enjoyed, questioned what I hated, questioned what I was angry at, and really reflect on if this thing that I feel these emotions towards are really mine or not. I questioned everything. It's like you reach this stage of questioning everything, which leads you to the dark night of the soul, where like you're like, I don't know anything. I don't know anyone. I don't even know myself. Where you're just like shedding everything and you feel so lost and in the dark. And which is why they call it the dark night of the soul. And I'm so glad I was doing these courses because it led me there. And then there was a course about that. And I was like, what the heck is the dark night of the soul? And then I found out that I was actually in it because I was like, nothing makes sense. anymore. And I won't get too deep into it, but it was just like reaching that point where nothing makes sense anymore because everything that you have been conditioned to think makes sense, you're shedding or you have shed. So it's now constructing something new that you don't have any idea what it looks like. And it can be frustrating, it can be isolating, it can be alienating. From You feel alienated from yourself, you can't even describe this feeling to others. It can be very dark. um, and then I think this is a little message, I'm almost done. Just know that you are exactly where you're meant to be. And if any of this is resonating with you, this is your sign that it's time to shift to a higher vibrational version of yourself. And like I mentioned before, for me, it started with breath work, which is it's kind of intertwined with meditation, right? With meditation, it really means like just noticing. So the key is to observe your thoughts that show what you believe, and your beliefs then lead you to have certain habits that are lined up, whether they are habitual due to conditioning or habitual due to you practicing consciously what you're doing daily. And this perpetuates your patterns, and then this creates your paradigm for your life, for how you structure, how you live your life. And so if there are things in your life that you don't like, you have the extraordinary power to change it, and it's time to activate that power. So this is me sharing because I'm here to support you. Um, we can figure this out together. If you haven't started yet, but this resonates with you, let me know and we'll start together. If you haven't, I'll support you as you begin. If you have started and you're going along your journey and you still would like some support, I'm here. I'm here because when I started, I didn't really, besides the courses and the people in the courses that would like email you back, I didn't really have that much support because my circle at the time, we weren't experiencing the same things. And I was kind of like awakening alone. Um, and so I think that support is a really, really important tool as well, along with this, with learning all the other tools, meditation, breath work, visualization. So, um, yeah, we'll figure it out together because this is the revolution, right? This revolution is for our ancestors and for generations to come. We are waking up to things. We're waking up to doing things differently, which they didn't have the time and the space and the capacity to access. So this is for us, and it's so fitting that although I don't really believe in it necessarily, because I'm like Black History Month, like we're Black, we celebrate ourselves and our history and our culture all the time. So the Black History Month thing is just like, let's hype y'all up for 1 month for the shortest month of the year. I'm still like, I know. We get to do this all the time, and we carry this around all the time. It's not like, oh, we get to now pay attention to it for 1 month and then the rest of the year we're good. It's like, no, we carry this with us all the time. Our ancestors are with us all the time. Their blessings, their pain, their trauma, their guidance, their support, all of it is with us all the time. So this revolution is for our ancestors and for generations to come, because we are living ancestors. So we are here for a powerful reason, and I would love for us to live in that together. So that's why I wanted to share this, just my, um, I guess my take on awakening, and that it happens in layers. Some just like they're awakened, they're enlightened, but for most of us, I think it happens in layers. And just to be patient and gentle with yourself, and make sure that you're getting support and guidance in the ways that you really need through this. So thank you for being here. I'm excited to have more discussions like this with you as the month carries on. I'll be more on time, have a better setup. I'm still figuring it out. Like I said, we're all still figuring this out. So I honor you and I cherish you. And I'll see you soon.